Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I did a couple of videos recently giving a bunch of you advice, and some of you replied. And one particular guy, this guy here, who I did this video for about being, a kissless virgin, it's his shameful secret. He replied and he gave a whole bunch of summaries and some of his own thoughts. And it's very, very, very good stuff. And it deserves its own video. So that's what we're going to do here today. Read out some of what he wrote, and I'll give extra thoughts and a little bit more advice for any of you who are maybe in a position where you're feeling a bit hopeless, you're feeling like you don't have the results that you want, either with your dating life or money or your body or happiness or mental health or whatever it might be. So he said, thanks so much, Andy. And then he did a green love heart. I still don't know how you guys and girls are doing different colored love hearts. I've only got a red love heart. I don't know how you kids with your technology and your emojis and your bloody colors, I don't know how you're pulling this off, but it's very impressive. So thank you for the green emoji. Means a lot to me that you took the time to set this all out here. Yeah, my brother, of course, you were suffering. You were in a little bit of a, maybe dark place or a negative place. So of course I'm going to help in whatever way I can. I can't promise that I can help literally every single person that's watching the channel. I am just one human being. I guess I have Cam and Emmy and Ed and Taylor, my other two coaches, helping, but yeah, I will always do my best to answer as many of your comments and questions and stuff as I can. If I ever can't get to something, by the way, you're all very welcome to come to like live streams that I do and stuff like that, or you're welcome to hit me up for coaching. And yeah, I'll try and help as many people as I can. I'd say this was all exactly what I needed to hear. Summarizing your points from my notes. First of all, my brother, really good job taking it with humility and humbly. Sometimes when I give advice, and sometimes when I've been given advice in the past, it's not always easy to accept it, especially if we're feeling very emotional, like we're feeling a lot of suffering, we're feeling a lot of hopelessness. Like this guy in particular said he was feeling a lot of shame when he made that very first comment that I did the video on. He said, I'm a 31-year-old kissless virgin, it's my shameful secret. And sometimes when we're feeling very emotional, it can be quite difficult to hear the advice that other people are giving to us. Sometimes what we're looking for or what we think we're wanting is for someone to just be like, oh, poor boy or poor girl, that's so awful. Oh, that's awful. I feel so sorry for you. And you go, yeah, isn't it shit? Isn't life unfair? Doesn't the universe fucking suck? Women suck, don't they? Men are awful. How come I can't get what I want? It's not fair. That's what we're seeking sometimes. I'm never going to give any of you that because that doesn't serve you. That just keeps you perpetually stuck. It makes you feel shitty. You don't feel good when someone says, yeah, your life fucking sucks. You go, oh, well, I got some sympathy and that temporarily felt good. But then I wake up tomorrow and my life is exactly the same. This sucks. So you don't want a bunch of people telling you that life sucks, even though in that moment that is what you want. So good job accepting my advice with humility. I myself haven't always been very humble when I accept advice from other people. There's been lots of times that my beautiful, big, stubborn ego says, no, you're wrong. You don't understand me. And as soon as we can be a little bit more humble and listen to what people have to say when they're trying to help us, the sooner we can start to implement some changes and build that life that we want to live. So good job, dude. He goes on to say, lose the victim label. It just keeps me safe where I am. Yeah, exactly what I just said, basically, right? This guy's reading my fucking mind, or I'm reading his mind. Yeah, when we tell ourselves like, this sucks, it's not fair, my life is unfair, why don't I get the results that I want? Why don't I have a better sex life or a better relationship or a better, friends, or why am I all alone? You feel like a victim, and temporarily you get a payoff from that. You get to feel like the victim. People sometimes give you sympathy. It saves you from having to change. Change can be quite scary and sometimes confronting. And so if you make yourself the victim, there's no responsibility. You don't have to take ownership. You go, oh, it's not my fault. Women are just being bitches and they won't give me a chance. Or men are fucking assholes and they won't stop being playboys and none of them will give me a fair chance. So it's not my fault. Men or women are the problem, or the government, or life, or this or that, or it's my height. I'm too short, so that's why I shouldn't even put in any effort to go and actually talk to a lot of women. I shouldn't put any self-improvement effort in because I'm short. What's the point? And so it saves us. We're doing it almost as self-protection when we say I'm too short or I'm too old or I'm the victim or it's not fair or I can't change or it's too late for me or I could never do what other people have done. we're kind of doing that to save ourselves, to protect ourselves from what we believe will be rejection or failure or mistakes or getting hurt or any of that. And so it's not that you're lazy or stupid or dumb or that you're an idiot or any of that stuff. If you're in a victim mindset or if you have a lot of limiting beliefs, like understand that limiting beliefs are there to protect you. Literally, it is your body, or I guess you would say your ego. It's the ego part of your brain saying, I don't want you to suffer. I don't want you to go out there and get rejected. I don't want you to go out there and really try hard with dating and you try for several years and then you still don't get the results that you want and then you feel like a big failure, even more than you already feel like. I don't want you to feel like that. So I'm going to protect you with a limiting belief by telling you it's hopeless and you can't change. And so understand that that mechanism inside of us that's deep in our human psychology, deep in our psyche, that sort of limiting belief, I'm a victim, it's too late for me, I can't change. That's called learned hopelessness. That learned hopelessness and learned helplessness is there to protect you. Now, you are the one in charge. You are the adult. So you get to decide whether or not you're going to live that life of like comfortable complacency, but then being vaguely unfulfilled. There's a really good quote on this. The massive men lead lives of quiet desperation. I believe it was like Ralph Waldo Emerson who said that. Really good summary of a lot of human beings, right? It's like they're comfortable, they're complacent, but there's that sort of like quiet desperation for something more. They want a better life. They want a girlfriend or a boyfriend, or they want more money, or they want to be more self-actualized. They want to do more of what they want instead of what they think they should do. They want to have some hobbies. They want to add to the world and make other people's lives a little bit better. But they don't know how to fucking do that because they're too busy being sort of like complacent, and their body or their ego is trying to keep them safe. There's another really good quote I love from Byron Katie. Don't be too careful, you could hurt yourself. In other words, when that self-protective mechanism inside of us, that part of our brain or our body or our soul or whatever you want to call it, says, I want to stop myself from going out there and taking a risk. I want to live that sort of comfortable life where I'm safe and I want to be the victim because then I don't have to change. At some point, that sort of does start to hurt you, doesn't it? It stops you from being the person that you actually want to be. And then you start living that life of quiet desperation. Or like this gentleman said, you start being comfortable and complacent, but vaguely unfulfilled. You're like, fuck, man, I'm feeling that quiet life or that life of quiet desperation. So yeah, when we let go of the victim label, which can take incredible courage, and the good news is we can just start to let go of it. You don't have to let go of it all at once. You just take a tiny little baby step and start slowly owning your life and saying, okay, what if I just do one tiny step towards the person that I want to be? You don't have to do it all at once. That can be quite confronting and scary, particularly if you're very wrapped up in a victim label like this guy. I'm a 31-year-old kissless virgin. That's a label. He's literally saying, I am a virgin. I try as best as I can with my coaching clients to not say you are a virgin. There's sometimes I will say an exception to that and I'll say you are a virgin. But for the most part, I try and just say, no, you're just a person that hasn't had sex yet. So let's go get you to have sex. Like, you're not this special, weird, fucked up human being or a victim. You're not this special class, this underclass, this weird impoverished person who's like sexually impoverished. You're not a victim. You're not a virgin. You just haven't had sex yet. I say the same thing about mental health labels. A lot of the time we'll wrap up our identity in a mental health label and we'll say, I am autistic or I am this. And it's like, you're just sort of keeping yourself trapped when you do that, So anyway, separate discussion. But this guy goes on to say, I'm not special or abnormal because of this label. Yeah, so just what I said. Dude, you're reading my mind or I'm reading your mind. I haven't read this comment. This is the first time I'm reading his comment, but yeah, we are on the same wavelength, my brother. He goes on to say, many of your clients have overcome exactly this scenario to achieve great success. Yeah, tons of them have. Yeah, of course. So yeah, a lot of the time with that label of being a victim or being unlovable or being unworthy or being too short or too old or too this or I'm a virgin or I'm this or that, we come up with all of these limits on ourselves. In other words, we put labels. Like, understand a label is a limit. As soon as you label something, the implication is it is this and therefore it is not anything else. Like, labels are binary, which is, a basic concept in Buddhism, the concept of dualism. If you say that this is vanilla ice cream, then it cannot be chocolate ice cream. It is excluded from being anything else. And so if you say, I am a victim, you are excluded from any nuance or subtlety in there. You are saying, I am a victim, and therefore I have no ownership in it. But if we can start to untangle or let go of a little bit of that victim label, we can start to say, hey, maybe I'm just a person who hasn't had sex yet. Maybe I can start taking the steps to have sex. Having sex is just like a recipe that you follow. There's just a game plan that you follow. It's really not that complicated. Improve yourself to a point where a decent amount of people are interested in you. How do you know they're interested in you? Because you go out and talk to them and hit on them and ask them out. And then just ask a lot of people out until one of them says yes. And then ask a bunch of those people, would you like to come back to my apartment? I'd love to make out with you and possibly have sex. Are you up for that? Some of them say yes. Then you have sex. Right at the moment when you're about to have sex, like when you're back at your apartment, you say, can I kiss you? She says yes. You kiss her. You say, would you like to come to the bedroom with me and have sex? And she says yes. Or she says no. That's it. It's not complicated. But when we label ourselves as a victim or a virgin or like a hopeless virgin, like an incel, or we say I'm ashamed of this, when we have these labels and we use words like can't, which I can already see, this guy goes on to talk about the word can't. When we say, I can't do this, we are precluding ourselves. In other words, we're limiting ourselves from being who we truly are. We're limiting ourselves from opening up and being more than just a label. So a label is like a prison, and we will imprison ourselves and then blame the rest of the world for it. We will say, I'm a loser, I'm a victim, I can't change, it's too late for me, I'm too short, I'm too old, I'm any of this. But the world is the one doing that to me. Because a couple of times I saw on a woman's profile that she likes tall guys. So therefore, all women have imprisoned me because I'm a little bit shorter. And so all women have put me in this prison. No, we put ourselves in the prison and then we blame it on other people. We don't mean to. We're innocent in that. We don't know that we're even doing that. It's a completely subconscious thing until you learn to recognize it in yourself and you realize when you're doing it. And then you can start to let go of the label, or the label will let go of itself. You don't even really need to do anything. A lot of the time, just realizing that you're labeling yourself as a victim is more than enough to undo half of it immediately. Seriously, half of it. Most of this shit that we talk about is just about self-knowledge and self-acceptance as well, but it's really just self-knowledge. If you can just be self-aware to realize what your brain is doing automatically without your realizing it, you can start to work on it and start to come up with solutions to each problem. You can start to go, oh shit, I'm making myself a victim. Holy fuck, I didn't know I was doing that. Okay, shit. What do I want to do? Damn, okay, maybe I can start taking some baby steps. All right, what would a person who's not a victim do? What would a winner do? Whatever the word winner means to you. What would someone who's already having a lot of sex do? Okay, if a guy was having a lot of sex, he would probably be walking up to a lot of women and introducing himself and telling them that they're pretty or they're attractive. And he'd probably be asking them for a phone number and to grab a drink with him. And then on the dates, he'd probably be having a fun conversation with them. And then at some point, he'd probably say, do you want to come back to my place? And then they'd go back and have sex. And that would be it. That's all he'd be doing. Okay, what if I just do those steps? What if I literally just think, what would a successful person be doing? I did a video on this a while ago. This video I did 3 years ago called What Would Andy Do? And you can literally just think to yourself, okay, what would Andy or anybody else that you take advice from, there's plenty of people you can do this with. What would that person do? What would Andy do? And I used to do this myself. That's where I got this idea from. I learned a lot from people like Mark Manson, Caleb Jones, and definitely Chris from Good Looking Loser. And I would just think to myself, okay, what would Caleb Jones do in this situation? What would Chris from Good Looking Loser do? What would some confident, happy, guy who's had the success that I want, what would he do? In business, lots of times I would say, what would Dan Henry do? What would Pat Flynn from Smart Passive Income do? What would Seth Godin or Gary Vee or Alex Hormozi? What would these people do? And then what if I just do that? If I do what they're doing, in other words, if I learn from a mentor and just copy them, literally just copy them, maybe you tweak it a little bit if you want to, but for the most part, just copy them. Wouldn't it stand to reason that I will probably get maybe not exactly the same results as them, because I might misunderstand the steps or I might do something a little bit differently to what they did, but in the same ballpark, surely if I follow what they're doing, I could get at least 10% of the results, if not 50%. And 50% of the results would be pretty fucking amazing. That's another concept that I used to follow as well. I was like, what if I could get 1% of the results that these people that I'm learning from have done? 1%. That'd still be pretty good. That would be a hell of a lot of money. That would be a hell of a lot of amazing sex and intimacy and connections and all of that. That would be a hell of a lot of helping people and changing their lives and improving them and all of that sort of stuff. Yeah, 1% would be pretty good. Okay, why don't I aim for 1%? Rather, this is baby steps, rather than saying I have to do everything all at once and overwhelm myself. So yeah, you can literally just say, what would a successful person do? Or what would a person that I think is pretty happy? I get a sense that they're kind of happy, and I don't think they're lying to me about their happiness. I'm getting a good feel for them. I've watched enough of their content or read enough of their books or whatever it might be. What if I just kind of mimic, through mimicry, do exactly what they're doing and see if I get some similar results? And you will. Like, if you do roughly what they're doing, you'll get like 50% of the results of them. Even if you don't, you'll get at least like 10 or 20%. That's pretty fucking good. That's a good starting place. And then you build from there. So yeah, there's all these different techniques of how you can do what other people have done. So this guy goes on to say, avoid using the word can't. It's actually won't or don't or choosing not to, because it protects us from feeling challenged. Yeah, like I said before, like a lot of the time we'll say, I can't seem to get a girlfriend. And it's like, I get what you're saying, but it's more of an accurate statement to say, I'm choosing not to. And I don't know that I'm choosing not to, but I am making a subconscious choice. A lot of the time it's subconscious. You don't even know you're doing it. I'm making a subconscious choice to not go out and talk to lots of women. Or you could phrase that in maybe a more gentle way and say, I'm not choosing to go out and talk to lots of women right now. Like, literally, it is a statement of fact that I'm not talking to 50 or 100 women a week. And so how would I ever find a woman that likes me if I'm not doing the steps that are required? Again, success and achieving your goals is literally just like following a recipe. It's like you're baking a cake. All that is required of you is that you follow the steps to bake that cake. It has nothing to do with worthiness or being good enough or any of that shit. No, that's irrelevant. It's, did you follow the recipe that cake requires? And so the same with like meeting women and having a girlfriend or a boyfriend or whatever you're looking for. It's like, did you do the exact steps that were required to get to that goal of having a boyfriend or a girlfriend? If the answer is no, then that was a choice. And you might not know that it was a choice. Sometimes we feel helpless and we feel like a victim and we're like, I'm not choosing. I can't go outside. I'm nervous and I have inexperience and I have anxiety and I can't do it. It's like, okay, but there is always something that you can do. I talk about this in the Play to Win video course. I said, play to win rather than playing to lose. And there's another chapter, every problem has a solution. And so if you say, I can't go and talk to women because I'm too nervous, okay, walk around and think about talking to women. Every woman that you walk past, think about what it might be like to say hello to her. That is you getting exposure therapy. Do that for like a month straight, and you will slowly work up the courage to then smile at a couple of women and maybe just say hello, and then you walk past them. Or you say, hi, how's your day going? And she goes, it's good, thanks. How's yours? And you're like, yeah, pretty good. And then you go home. Congratulations. You're now one step closer to being able to actually talk to her properly. Then you start building the courage and working up the courage to actually talk to her and say, how's your day going? Good. What's your name, by the way? I'm Andy. And then you shake her hand. She's like, oh, I'm Sarah. It's nice to meet you. And then finally you work up the courage to say to a couple of women really nervously, fuck, like maybe this is a bit forward of me and I'm a bit nervous here, but like, do you happen, are you single? And she'll go, I am. Yeah, why do you ask? And you go, I just, like, no reason or anything. I just, fuck, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm so nervous. Fuck. Would you maybe, like, you don't have to, you're allowed to say no, it's okay. But, like, would you want to, like, maybe, is there, like, any chance that you would want to, like, get a coffee with me? And, like, I know it's stupid of me. You don't have to say yes. It's okay. I know I'm being silly right now. And she's like, no, you're not being silly. I'd love to grab a coffee with you. And you're like, wait, what? Did you say yes? And she's like, of course I said yes. You seem nice. We've talked for a little bit. I already like you. Like, yeah, I'd love to grab a coffee with you and get to know each other. And you're like, what the fuck? Like, why is this bitch saying yes to me? Because you asked. You just followed the recipe. Talk to a lot of women. Improve yourself along the way, with baby steps a little bit at a time. Eventually, one of them will like you. I say this to so many guys that are virgins, and I'm pretty sure I said this to this guy. There are so many women out there in the world that would fall in love with you, but you're just not giving yourself a chance to get to know them or for them to get to know you. Same with any women out there who are feeling like, man, I can't find a good man. There are so many men that would fall in love with you if you would give yourself a very genuine and open-hearted opportunity to meet them and for them to get to meet you without all the defensiveness, without all the, keeping yourself safe and comfortable and all of that. If you actually opened your heart up, which can be scary, so you do that in tiny little baby steps, honesty and vulnerability is something you slowly can work on. You don't have to all of a sudden be this confident, courageous, open-hearted person. It can be quite scary. But if you just put yourself out there, there will be a lot of people that would get to know you and love you, really, really love you. And maybe more to the point, if there is no one out there right now that you feel like loves you, why don't you go first? Why don't you fucking love yourself and walk around and love other people? Why don't you go be the change that you want to see in the world? So, yeah. He goes on to say, it's not my fault, but it is my responsibility to address and take action. Yeah, there's quite a bit on the internet where people will be like, and I understand what they're saying when they say this, but there's quite a lot of like motivational content that will be like, it's your fault. And I used to talk like that. I bet you, actually, let's take a trip. Let's check this out. I bet you I've done podcasts and articles where I blame you guys and say like, it's your fault. Like back in the day, I bet you I used to talk like that. I'm going to Google now on my website. Yeah, I did on my website. I just went and checked. I never actually told any of you that it was your fault, but I said my own fault quite a lot. Like this article here, The Hustle, I talked about like it was my fault that I never faced my fears before. This one here, I talked about my past relationship that had a bit of violence and stuff like that in it. And I specifically said that was my fault. This one here, I specifically said to all of you, you need to admit all your failures have been your fault, not just bad luck. You need to step up to the plate, man up, and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so I did talk about that a little bit, or talk like that a little bit in the past. But there's a ton of content on the internet just like that, where people will be like, it's your fault, you're a pussy, especially in like hyper masculine circles where they can often be like, it's all your fault, you're being a coward, you're a pussy, blah, blah, blah. I used to call you guys and girls pussies sometimes in my content, years ago. And so tons of that content, but there's a little bit more nuance to that. It's not that it's your fault. You were innocent in it. Like, did you realize that you were calling yourself a victim? No, most of you don't. I never did. I didn't realize I was doing that. Like, you're innocent in that. How can it be your fault if you don't even know what you're doing? There's a quote that I love from the Christian Bible where Jesus is on the cross. And if you're not religious, don't stress. Neither am I. But it's a really good quote. Jesus on the cross goes, "Forgive them, Father. They know not what they do." Fucking sweet quote. Applies to so many of us too. It's like, forgive yourself. You didn't know what you were doing. You were innocent in that. You were literally innocent. Now that you do know, you can take some responsibility for it. So it's not about fault. It's not about victimizing yourself again, like just making yourself even more of the victim by beating yourself up. You're now making yourself the victim again. No, fuck all that shit. It's not your fault. You didn't know any better. If you knew better, you would have done something differently. If you were capable of doing something better or differently, you would have. You're not fucking stupid. You're not retarded. You literally didn't know any better. There's another really good quote I love from David Hawkins, which is, everybody is just trying to do the best that they can. Seneca, I think it was either Seneca or Socrates, one of the old like Stoics and philosophers and people like that, said every man is just doing what he believes to be the good in each moment. Like, we're trying to do the best that we can, and often we have limited information. We don't even know how our own brain works. We don't understand our own psychology. We don't understand our own ego. We definitely don't always understand our own emotions. Eventually, you can learn to understand them. Like, I cover a lot of this in the Play to Win video course, and obviously my coaching, and obviously all this content. But yeah, when you're in the middle of your emotions and you're feeling like a victim and you don't understand your own suffering, and you sort of feel like, I don't know why I'm suffering. I don't know why women aren't having sex with me. The answer is because you're just not talking to them. Like, that's it. But when you don't know that, you feel all these emotions and you don't know what to do about it. It's very fucking confusing. And so if you can get a little bit of knowledge, which is obviously what I'm here for in this channel, if we can start to shine a light on certain things, then you realize, oh shit, it wasn't my fault. But if I want to be happy, that is going to be on me. Like the Gandhi quote, be the change that you want to see in the world. If you want your world to be a little bit better, you start. Byron Katie has a quote, if you want the socks picked up, you pick up the socks, especially for any parents out there, which is what she did that quote for, who she did that quote for. If you're going, my kids never pick up their socks, at some point it's like, look, do I just want to pick the socks up myself and then at least the socks are picked up? Same thing in life. If you're going, women should give me a chance, women should sleep with me, it's like, Right, fine. Do I want to just go up to a bunch of women and say, hey, would you like to sleep with me? Instead of waiting for them to do that to me. I went through this myself. I've had many periods where I felt like a victim, especially with business and paying the bills and money, stress, and all of that. For years, for the first probably 3.5 years of building all of this, I was stressed to the tits. You cannot imagine how many nights I had with like 3 hours sleep, up all night, having nightmares of like, where am I going to pay the bills? When's the next coaching client coming in? I built up $100,000 in debt from tax and money borrowed and losing my job during COVID and all of that. And so I had all of this stress. And I would often sit there and go, why won't people come and sign up for the coaching? I've changed all their lives for free. I'm giving so much free information out. I've given so much. I've done so much. Why won't people cut me a break and give me some money? Why won't people sign up for the coaching program? And I felt like a victim. I felt helpless. I was like, it's not fair. I'm giving everything I have to give, and yet people are not signing up. And then at some point, I was like, you know what? Rather than waiting for a miracle, why don't I be that miracle? If I'm sitting there wishing someone would come in and change my life by giving me money, what if I go out there and change a whole bunch of people's lives for free, like content and stuff like that? Why don't I change their fucking life? I'm saying, why won't they give me something? Why don't I give them something? I'm sitting here just wishing I could just get. They're probably feeling the same fucking thing. They're probably feeling like no one cuts me a break, no one will give me any coaching, and Andy charges money for his coaching and I can't afford that, so who the fuck is here for me? Why don't I be there for them instead of just demanding that they be there for me? And so when we can take responsibility and say, okay, I'll fucking take action. Instead of saying other people should give me what I want, women should give me sex, clients should, or the audience should give me money, friends should give me loyalty. Fuck that shit. Why don't I just take action? Instead of expecting the external world to change, which just leaves you as a victim. Like, you can't control the external world. You can influence it to some extent, but you can't like make people give you money if they don't want to. You can't like make some woman have sex with you if she's not interested. And so rather than focusing on that, which takes all the power away from me, I'm disempowering and disenfranchising myself. It's like reverse feminism or some shit. If I expect the world to change, that's fucking anti-feminism, anti-menonism. Is that what you call manonism? Whatever. It's anti-empowerment. If I expect other people to do what I want them to do, fuck that shit. I'll focus on the action I can take. So I'll give more. I'll give more to myself. That's an option. I will go out there and talk to more women if I'm wanting to meet a woman for sex or relationships or intimacy. I will go out there and help the audience more, and I will tell them about the coaching, and I will work on really changing my coaching clients' lives so they give a great testimonial, so that will bring more people in. I'll focus on what I can do and what I can control rather than the sort of victimhood mindset that we can often fall into. And again, to be very clear, I've fallen into the victimhood mindset a billion times. Like, this is not unique to this guy or any of you. Yeah, we all have this part of our brain that goes, I want what I want right now. And the universe is like, you can have what you want. You just have to put in a bit more effort. And you're like, no, I put in lots of effort. I want it now. And the universe is like, no, you can have it if you put in a bit more effort. I've made that very clear to you. Go put more effort in, and then you'll get more results. And you're like, no. Stupid universe won't give me what I want. Stupid society won't just give me shit for free. How come men can't have free sex and women can't have free boyfriends? How come we can't have free fitness with just sitting on the couch and eating Twinkies and getting fat? Like, why can't I just take a pill that will make me athletic and have abs and lots of money and be famous? And how come I can't just do 5 videos on Instagram and all of a sudden I'm famous? I want what I want right now. And the universe is like, haha, that's cute. No. And you're like, I hate you, stupid universe. And the universe is like, you're allowed to hate me. But I'm not going to give you what you want just because you become a little fucking dictator, a little tyrant who says, I hate you, God. I hate you, universe. I hate you, women. I hate you, government. I hate you, life. I hate you, self. Sometimes we turn that all around on ourselves and we hate ourselves. We're ashamed. That's what shame is. Shame is, self-focused and self-directed. And we go, I hate everyone and everything. I should get what I want right now. And the universe is like, I'll be right here when you decide to actually do the steps that are required to get the thing you want. I'm not going anywhere. I got nothing but love in my heart for you. I'll help you as soon as you actually start to help yourself. But if you sit there and just throw a tantrum and throw all your, toys out of the stroller or out of the pram, as we call it here in Australia, if I throw all my toys out of the stroller and throw a little tantrum and go kicking and screaming and say, I want what I want right now. Give it to me now. No, that's not how that works. So yeah, it's about taking responsibility and taking more action. And by the way, you don't have to take more action. You just probably won't get the result. Or you will get the result. It will just take a lot longer. And so there are two options if you're not or if you're feeling frustrated and not happy with your current results. You can either take more action, that's an option, or you can be more patient, or a combination of both. There's 3 guys in my coaching group right now who are kind of going through this. And so all of this, I might even send them this video as soon as I stop recording. They're feeling a little bit frustrated with their lack of progress. And so I've said the same thing to them. I'm like, okay, would you like to take more action? And we can keep you accountable. We can push you. We can motivate you. We can support you. We can love you. We can be there for you. We can come up with ways of prioritizing your goals a little bit more. We can set time aside in your calendar so you have more time to do this. We can jump on phone calls with you. Like the people in like the other clients can get on a phone call with you when you go out to approach or you go to work on your business, and they can talk you through it and all of that. I can record you voice messages every day, and I'll give you a little motivational pep talk. You just tell me what you need or what you're going to work on, and I'll record you something every day. I'll do that for you. That's easy. We will orient your life so that you're able to take more action. And then the second thing you can do is be a bit more patient. Like, let go a little bit. Realize that you can't control exactly how quickly some of these outcomes are going to come. You can influence it by taking more action, but like, you can't, if you're going to take the same amount of action right now, it's irrational and I guess you would say childlike and innocent to throw a tantrum and throw your toys out of the stroller and say, no, I want to keep taking the same amount of action I'm taking right now, but the results have to speed up or come to me right now. It's like, that makes no sense. That literally doesn't make any sense. When you look at it like that as a logical statement, you realize the fallacy of it. To say, I'm not going to put in more effort, I'm not going to put in more input, but the output should increase. That literally doesn't make any sense. But again, when the emotions come into it, we're not very rational sometimes, are we? So yeah, all of this is not just this guy or any of you. Lots of my coaching clients struggle with this too, particularly because they're in a coaching program and they feel some sense of pressure with time. And they're like, fuck, man, I've put this money in. I've made this commitment. I only have a certain amount of weeks in the program. I have to get way more progress and results than I currently am getting. And so a lot of what I work with people is a little bit of letting go and saying, look, just do your best every day. We'll push you. We'll help you. We'll be there for you. We'll support you. We'll love you. But the results are going to come when the results are going to come. Part of that is part of the reason why, like this pressure and stress that people put on themselves in our coaching program is part of why we let people stay in the members only. We have like a Discord. People stay in the members only Discord for life. So you're essentially getting free coaching for life and free accountability for life. That takes some of the pressure off people to go, holy shit, I've only got 12 weeks. I have to make the most of it. And then they get almost like crippled by fear and overwhelm and like almost have a fucking panic attack of like, what if every day isn't an 11 out of 10 in terms of progress? It's like, that's okay. You're going to be in the coaching group, in the Discord for the rest of your life. You have the rest of your life to work on your goals. I promise you will be okay. I promise you will make it. A little bit more patience and a little bit more taking action if you want to. But sometimes the guys in the group and the girls in the group are just taking an insane amount of action, and there's only a little bit more that they could do. So sometimes it is just a patience thing. It's like you had an unrealistic expectation of how much progress you were supposed to make. You just didn't know any better, or you had an unrealistic expectation of how long the results would normally take to come in. Like a lot of people, like I said, expect if I just go out there and put in 3 or 6 months or 1 year's worth of effort, I should just be massively successful. No, some of your goals for some of you might take several years. And that doesn't mean you have to wait several years before you see any progress. No, you're making progress the entire time. But some of your goals are big goals. Me, myself, it was a big game changer for me when I finally had the humility to listen. And I was stubborn with this. I fought this for a long time, and I threw my tantrums and was kicking and screaming just like some of you do. I was just like you guys and girls. It took me a long time to embrace the fact that building a business and being an entrepreneur, it's really helpful to think in terms of 10 years down the track rather than in terms of just like 1 or 2 or 3 years. And I was really frustrated by how long it was taking to be able to pay the bills and how many sleepless nights I had and how much effort I would put in. And then no one would sign up for coaching. I'd record like 30 pieces of content in 2 weeks, all of it really motivational. I'd pour my heart and soul into it. I would barely sleep because I was just pouring everything into doing the content. I even had a couple of weeks I'd do like 10 pieces of content a day, every day for several weeks straight. and no one would sign up for the coaching. And I'd be like, for fuck's sakes, I can't give any more than that. And so I had an unrealistic expectation that I should just get the results because I put in that much effort. And it was only when I actually started listening to people like Alex Hormozi, Dan Henry, Pat Flynn, Gary Vee, Seth Godin, even people like Mark Manson would talk about this, Caleb Jones, like Good Looking Loser. These people talked about like how much content you might need to do before it starts to become very easy. And you're making progress the entire time. But they all said, think in terms of 10 years. Like, stop thinking in terms of like, I've been doing this business for 3 years. I should be wildly successful and it should be easy now. No, bro, you've done 30% of what we're telling you to do. Go commit 10 years to this. Then even Mr. Beast talks like this. The most popular YouTuber on the platform at this point in time has said the same shit. Think in terms of 10 years. And again, that doesn't mean dedicate 10 years of your life and you see no progress. Fuck no. If you're doing it for several years and you're making literally no progress, then something would need to change. It's a slow build up the entire time. You know, you're making more and more progress as the time goes on, but it's about having that humility to notice the progress that you're making. And again, if you're genuinely making no fucking progress, like if you've been working on your dating life for like 3 years and you still haven't gone on a single date, at that point, it would be like, holy fuck, okay, like please jump on a call with me or something, or pay some other coach so we can get in there and go like, okay, Jesus Christ, what are you doing? You must be doing something really weird. And yeah, I have seen every now and then a very rare, strange situation like that. You know, I've had people that say, I approached 1,000 women and I haven't had a single date. And I'm like, holy fuck, okay, let's take a look at what you're doing. You get in there, you ask a bunch of questions, you figure out what they're doing and what they're not doing. And it's something weird. Like they're like, yeah, so I've never actually asked a woman for a phone number. I'm just hoping that they will give it to me if the conversation is right. And it's like, bro, what the fuck? No. No, I understand how you made that assumption, but like, no, you need to be asking every woman for a phone number unless she says, I have a boyfriend or I'm not interested. Every other woman asked them for a phone number. I want you to go out and ask hundreds of women. You know, I had a guy in there is a guy in my coaching group right now that I went through with this, exactly this. He'd approached like 150 women, hadn't had any dates. And I was like, you're asking every woman for a phone number, right? And he was like, no, do I need to? And I was like, yes. Don't count it. Like, don't count it as an approach. Like you still get credit for approaching, but I want you, like I said to this guy in particular, I want you to stop counting just if you walk up to a woman but don't ask for her phone number. Like that's fine. You still did something courageous. That's amazing. But start only keeping track of it in your mind. If you actually said the words, I would like to take you out for a drink. Can I get your phone number? Or, hey, I'd love to swap phone numbers with you and we can go out sometime. Is that something you're up for? Like only count it if you ask for a phone number. So yeah, a lot of the time we're just not taking as much action as is required, and I have been there a billion times. This guy goes on to say, I shouldn't put pressure on myself to do it all on my own. There are no shoulds, my friend. There are no shouldn'ts. You're allowed to put pressure on yourself to do it all on your own if you want to. It's just that it might take you a little bit longer, but nothing bad happens if you try and do it on your own. God knows I tried to do a lot of my goals on my own, and all that happened was I just made slower progress. I still made progress, so it wasn't even a bad thing. It's just that I could have made a little bit faster progress, and I have made faster progress when I've let people help me. So yeah, it's not that you shouldn't. It's not like the worst thing in the world. Oh my God, you did it all on your own. No, you'll just be limited in how much you achieve success or how fast. So it just might take longer, or you might not have the support that would benefit you, but it's not the worst thing in the world. You don't have to use words like should or shouldn't. We don't have to guilt trip ourselves, which is what the word shouldn't is. It's like an attempt to guilt trip ourselves or shame ourselves into not doing something or to doing something. Goes on to say, I'm currently not remotely playing the numbers game sufficiently to get results. Yeah, I know that's, yeah. Every single person I've ever met that I've ever worked with who really isn't getting the results that they want, and they've been doing it for a decent amount of time, like if you're not getting results in the first week, then fine. Yeah, you just haven't been doing it for long enough. Like, but if someone has been putting in a couple of months or even years of effort and they feel like they don't have the dating life they want or they don't have the business life they want, every single time I've ever gotten in there, it's because they either weren't playing the numbers game or they weren't following the recipe correctly as it was written. You know, like again, success is just like baking a cake. Follow the recipe the way that it is written and you will get the result. If you don't follow it, then you might not get the result. You might accidentally stumble upon the result. Great, brilliant, that's good, but you probably wouldn't be leaving me a comment. But if you haven't got the results, you either haven't been playing the numbers game as much as is required to get the results that you want, or you weren't following the recipe. And so, yeah, a lot of the time guys will be like, but I've talked to like one woman this week. And you're like, that's amazing. That's so incredible. That's really genuinely fucking amazing. That really is like genuinely, that's worth celebrating. Now let's work on talking to 2 women a week. Then let's work on talking to 3 women a week, then 4, then 5. And if we can get you to the point, and it might be a slow progress, you might be a little bit scared and nervous and all of that. But if we can get you to the point where you're talking to like 30 women a week, then the results will just start coming in. And if you're following the recipe correctly, like you're improving yourself, you're working on your appearance, and you're asking each one of them for a phone number unless they say, I have a boyfriend, or I'm not interested, or no, thank you. Other than those exceptions, ask every single woman for a phone number and then message them and say, would you like to go on a date with me? How's Friday at 6 p.m.? And then on the date, say either, can I kiss you? Or would you like to come back to my place? Or you're so pretty, or you're so sexy, or I'm having so much fun. Would you like to come back with me? Like making it clear that you are interested in them and that you want to hook up or have sex or be intimate or be romantic or something like that. Like, are you following the recipes? So yeah, as this guy, correctly and very self-aware, very self-awaredly figured out, he just wasn't playing the numbers game sufficiently to get the results that he wanted. And so maybe he ends up losing his virginity. I believe I even said this to him in the original video. I think I said, what you're doing right now, talking to a few women here and there, yeah, you'll probably lose your virginity in the next couple of years. Like you probably just will. But you could speed that up way quicker and lose it in the next month if you just talk to more women. This is something that happens a lot in my coaching program. They'll come and they'll be like, look, I've been working on this for a couple of years and I still haven't lost my virginity. Please help me. I'm at my wits and I feel hopeless. I feel helpless. I feel like there must be something wrong with me. Maybe I'm disgusting. Maybe I'm unlovable, any of that. And I'm like, nah, bro, if you commit to this, we can lose your virginity in the next 2 weeks. Maybe we'll be conservative and say the next month. How does that sound? And they're like, what? But I've been working on this for 2 years. And I'm like, yeah, like how serious are you about losing this? And they're like, bro, I'm so fucking serious. And I'm like, okay, are you ready to do the things that success might require of you? I literally even have that in the coaching sign up. Like this bit here, it's a checklist that you have to check in order to be able to even apply for the coaching program. And then I jump on a call with you and we talk through things and, we make sure that you're ready and that you're not just going to waste your money. I don't want anyone to just waste their money on us. And so there's this checklist here. I'm willing to take action. I will take the actions needed to build an elite life. I understand that I'm the one that needs to do the work to change. And then when you fill out the actual fucking application, I literally have a question. On a scale of 1 to 10, how willing and ready are you to make the changes necessary to improve your life? That's me trying to get you to sort of take ownership and say, okay, fine. Fuck, man, I'm going to make the changes necessary and I will change my life. And so lots of the time someone will come to the coaching program. They'll say, I haven't lost my virginity. It's been, fucking 2 years of working on this. And I'll go, cool. How willing and ready and able are you? I mean, you are able. How willing are you in the next 2 weeks or 4 weeks to do what we tell you to do? And if you can't do something, like, we're not going to force you, but like, are you willing to step a little bit outside your comfort zone? Are you willing to reprioritize your life and put a bit of time and attention into this? Are you willing to sort of go a little bit outside your comfort zone? We're not going to force you way out of your comfort zone. That might just overwhelm you and then you'll feel even worse about yourself and all of that. But are you willing to sort of reorganize your life a little bit so that we can put a bit more time and effort and focus and really so we can put more love into your dating life or your business or whatever? And anyone who says yes to that, which is every single person, obviously, no one's going to be like, nah, I don't want, I paid this money for the coaching, but I don't want to change. Like, no. So everyone says yes. And then, yeah, within sometimes it takes 4 weeks. If there's someone who's a particularly hard case, it might take 6 to 8 weeks, but every single person loses their virginity. I don't think there's a single exception to that unless I'm trying to think. I don't think there's there's been like one exception to that. One ever. No, because he still lost his virginity. He just went and saw a girl. He went on Tinder like 2 weeks later. And then there was a guy there's been a couple of guys that lost their virginity. So I'm trying to rack my brain here. I know you're all sitting there in silence while I try and think, but yeah, I can't really think of any people that didn't lose their virginity or achieve their goal or make more money or whatever it was, because they did whatever it took to make that happen. So sometimes it just requires changing things and putting in more effort and playing the numbers game more and doing whatever we need to do to get those damn results. And as this guy said, maybe I'm just going to bring up my approaching numbers dramatically to have a realistic chance of success. And you can build that up slowly. Like, you don't have to go outside and just suddenly talk to 30 women tomorrow. If you can do that, like if you go outside and you do that, brilliant. Like, go outside and try. I'm never going to limit what any of you can do. Go outside and try. If you walk around for 5 hours and you talk to one woman and you go, fuck, I was trying to talk to 30. Who gives a shit? You talk to one. That's an incredible success. Then we build upon that and we get you to a point where you're able to do like 5 a day or 10 a day and talk to a bunch of women and go on some dates. Yes, if you talk to a lot of women, some of them will like you. Same as any women out there. If you talk to a lot of guys, you don't have to date them all and have sex with them all. But if you just meet a whole bunch of guys and you're social and you put yourself out there, some of them will fall in love with you. And he wrote a few more things. So here's some of the other things that he said. I'm going to manage my expectations better according to the amount of approaches and effort I put in. Yeah, you just didn't know any better. You just had no idea how many approaches you might have to do. I say to lots of people, go approach 30 women a week. Do that for, I don't know, it depends on the person. I try not to give exactly specific numbers because then you'll beat yourself up if you put in that amount of numbers and you don't get the result. You'll go, fuck, Andy, I did the numbers you say. So I try not to give specific numbers, but let's just say go out and talk to 30 women, do that for a month and see where you're at. For a lot of you, maybe even for the majority of you, if you go do that and you're asking every woman for a phone number unless she says, I have a boyfriend or I'm not interested, and then you say, would you like to go on a date with me at this time and this place? And then on the date you say, can I kiss you? You're so pretty. Do you want to go back to my place and fool around or have sex? If you're like actually specifically following the recipe and you're working on your self-improvement at the time and at the same time and working on looking better and all of that, give it a month or two. Maybe if you're a really hard case, give it like 6 months. If you're like the most extreme hard case ever. But I've had clients in the coaching program that are morbidly obese. I literally mean morbidly obese. And they go on the dating apps, they follow the fucking recipe, they walk outside and talk to a few women. We had a guy that was morbidly obese and slept with 2 women in his 12 weeks. There are lots of women out there that just don't care if you're a bigger guy. They'll like the other qualities that you have. You have so much more to offer than just your fucking physical appearance in your body. Obviously, work on your physical appearance in your body because it's the first thing that people see. It's almost like your resume, or it's more like your cover letter. But yeah, even if you're morbidly obese, or fuck, man, I love bringing this guy up because he's my favorite example. Nick Vujicic is an absolutely legendary human being. Look at this. Where's his legs? Oh, he doesn't have any. Where are his arms though? Oh, he doesn't have any. He was born with a rare defect without any arms and any legs. You would think that this is the person who is not capable of love or relationships or sex. Oh, sorry, motherfuckers, with your limiting beliefs. This is Nick Vujicic and his beautiful wife, Kanye, and I don't know what his kids are called, but he's got 4 kids. 2 of them are twins. Beautiful, happy, little loving family. And he's a motivational speaker. He's written a bunch of books, except he can't fucking write them, can he? And so he dictates them to other people. Although, no, he can type, and I think he can type something insane, like 30 words a minute or something. He's got like a little bump on like where his leg should be, I guess you'd say, like a little nub, like a little stump, and he can sort of type on that, and he can use his nose and stuff like that for other things. Amazingly courageous, wonderful human being with a very beautiful family. And look, I'm not going to disrespect Nick because he's such a beautiful human being, but whatever. I'll say this in a clumsy way. His wife's kind of attractive. Like, Nick, you've done a good job. You got a very pretty girl there. And Nick knows that. Nick would be like, yeah, I got a little hottie. She's like a little sweetheart. It's like, good fucking job. And to her, to Kanye, I'd be like, you also got a good fucking man. He's motivational speaker. He's incredibly courageous. He just has the most beautiful fucking smile. Look at that great smile. He's just such a wonderfully loving, kind, humane person. He's so, so wonderful. So yeah, there's no excuses. This guy has no legs, no arms. In fact, his saying is no arms, no legs, no excuses. So yeah, if Nick can have a wonderful wife and kids, and obviously he's having sex, isn't he? He's got 4 kids. He's pumping them out. Holy moly. If Nick can do it, you sure as hell can too. And there's plenty of other examples of people like Nick who have been born with deformities. You know, there was one of my friends Playing with Fire, Alex from Playing with Fire, has done quite a few videos on this actually. He's done 3 videos. This one here, how a severely disabled guy got a girlfriend. how a severely disabled guy got laid on Tinder. I think that's the same guy. No, it's a different guy. I'm not sure. I can't remember if it's the same guy or different guy. And then this one, does this severely disabled guy get laid more than you? Yeah, because he actually fucking tries. Like, he's in a wheelchair and everything. Like, it doesn't have to be the limiting belief, or it doesn't have to be the reason that you don't put yourself out there and meet some beautiful human beings, form some connections, have a positive impact on the world, all of that stuff. This guy goes on to say, I want to make dating and relationships a true wholehearted priority going forward. Yeah, put all of yourself in there, and you can work up to that. You know, if you're not feeling super courageous, you don't have to throw yourself in the deep end, but just start taking some baby steps to open up your heart a little bit more, to put a little bit more effort in, to face up to some of those fears of rejection and what if I'm not good enough and all of that. You just do a little bit at a time, but you're slowly making progress and working on doing more and more. So he goes on to say, I want to make it part of my regular routine. Yeah, go talk to women when you walk outside. Say hi to the cute coffee girl or the cute girl at the coffee shop and ask her, hey, by the way, are you single? And she goes, yes, or she goes, no. If she goes, yes, you go, cool. Like, would you like to go on a date with me sometime? And then she'll say yes, or she'll say no. If she says no, be like, beautiful. Or she goes, I have a boyfriend. Sorry. You're like, that's so good. I'm really happy for you. You know, it makes me happy that people are together. That's amazing. I hope you guys have a beautiful relationship. And she's like, wow, thank you. That's really nice of you. Holy shit, you took that rejection really well. And you're like, how could it be a rejection? You're in a relationship with someone. That's beautiful. How could that ever be a rejection of me? You just happen to be in a relationship. You're just not single. You're not in the market to look for someone. That's got nothing to do with me personally. That's not a rejection. In fact, it's beautiful. I want people to be happy. I want people to be in relationships. I am working on being in a relationship myself. That's why I hit on you, cute girl at the coffee shop. I'm glad you're in a relationship. You already have what I'm seeking. That's amazing. I don't want everyone else to suffer. And then she goes, wow, you're so open-minded. That's amazing. And you go, cool. And then maybe, fucking maybe, don't expect this, but every now and then she might go, you know what? You have a really beautiful soul and a great way of looking at the world. This is going to sound like random, but I actually have a friend, Sarah, and she's single. Like, if you want, I could give you her Instagram and you can like maybe see if you like her and get in touch. And you're like, wow, it's amazing. Sure. Literally, one of my coaching clients went through this. And what's fucking hilarious is I literally predicted this to him. I said this to him a couple of weeks before it happened. I said, if you can just show up with gratitude and happiness and joy and love in your heart, and if a woman says, sorry, I have a boyfriend, you go, that's amazing. I want you to have a boyfriend. That's beautiful. I'm glad that you're happy. You know, I'm really happy for you. Some of them might say, wow, you seem nice. Would you like to be my friend? Or, wow, you seem fucking chill. You know what? I have a friend who's single. Do you want to talk to her? And one of my clients went out clubbing and was doing exactly this, trying to be more grateful, trying to be more open-minded and open-hearted. And one of the girls was literally like, I'm not single, but you seem chill. Here, talk to my single friend right here. She's single. And then he started talking to her and got her phone number. So holy shit, like that's what happens sometimes. Don't expect that. Like that's just a nice bonus that might happen or might not. But yeah, sometimes shit like that happens because you're a nice fucking person who doesn't take it personally and get personally rejected because somebody else doesn't want to date you or isn't available. And holy shit, I'm losing my voice. This is the third podcast I've recorded this morning. I've been recording for about the last 4 hours. I'm dying. Let's blaze through the last part of this. This guy says, part of my regular routine, like I want to make dating and relationships part of my regular routine on par with fitness and career development, rather than an irregular side activity to be done half-heartedly when I feel like it. Yeah, don't wait for the feelings, don't wait for the motivation. Just build it into your lifestyle, you know, make it a priority. Decide or ask yourself, you don't have to decide, but ask yourself, is this important? If it is, okay, am I willing to sort of change my priorities a little bit and just put a little bit more love into this? I don't have to go fucking crazy and quit my job and tell all my friends I'm never going to see you again because Papa needs to get laid. I don't have time for y'all. I need to go get this dick of mine nice and juicy and wet. No, you don't have to go crazy. You can if you want to, but you don't have to do that. But just switch up some of the priorities. Go like, okay, when I finish work, normally I just go home and I jack off and I feel sad about myself. What if I spend just like 15 minutes after work walking around? Maybe I smile at a couple of women. Maybe I say, hi, how's your day going? How's your night going? Maybe I'll ask one of them out and see what happens. Maybe I'll even walk up to some women and say, hey, you know, just my name's Andy. Are you single? She'll say, yeah. And you go, because you're really pretty. So I wanted to come say, hey, you just got off work, did you? And she'll be like, yeah, I just finished work. What about you? Yeah, I just finished work. Do you want to go hang out? Like, do you want to go to a bar or some shit? Like, I was just going to go home and fucking jack my dick or something. I was just going to go home and play video games. And I don't know, that doesn't seem super, doesn't inspire me. It doesn't inspire joy in my life. Do you want to chill with me in a bar or some shit? We could get to know each other and have a nice time and, no pressure, but do you want to? Because she just finished work, there's a very decent chance she'll go, holy shit, yes, please. Holy fuck, I'd love a beer, a glass of wine, or a cocktail, a cosmopolitan, or whatever, I can get my fucking pretty little fingernails on. Yeah, I'd love to chill after work. Holy shit. Like, a lot of people will say yes to that. Like, a lot of people. I've done that before. I've gone up to strangers at the end of work at like 5 p.m., 6 p.m. A lot of them are willing to have what's called an Insta date, where you just go on a date immediately, like instantly. So that's something that you can do. But yeah, just build it into your life, just slightly changing your priorities and putting a little bit more love or a little bit more focus or just a little bit more priority into this thing that you want. You don't have to do that, but you already want to do that. We already know you're probably going to do that. Besides that, I'm also making my way through your Playing to Win video course that I brought some time ago but procrastinated on as I had other courses going on at the time. I definitely give that the time it deserves too. Beautiful. Yeah, it's literally everything I figured out or learned or got taught to me in the last like 10 or 15 years of self-improvement. Like, it's literally a brain dump of how, like, it's my manual on how to be successful and happy and live a life of abundance and joy and gratitude and all of that. It's like everything dumped out into a video course. So yeah, I promise to take all of these points all on board. You don't have to promise. You don't promise us. Like, promise yourself. What I would love from you, my brother, this is a really good thing that all of you can do if you want to. Go into wherever you have a mirror, like walk into the bathroom, look into your own eyes in the mirror and say what you just said to me. Cause like, there's no point telling any of us this shit. Like, it's not us that are living your life, it's you. So go walk into the bathroom, look in the mirror, look in your own eyes. All of you can do this and say, I promise to take all of these points on board. Or I promise to start prioritizing the things that are important to me. I promise to show myself a bit of love and compassion and forgiveness. Or you could look into your own eyes and say, every day, you're doing a really good job. Keep going. Just say that to yourself every day. Put a reminder in your phone so you don't forget. Give yourself the pep talk that you're wanting me or other people to give you. Give that to yourself. You can walk into the bathroom mirror, look into your own eyes every day and say, I love you. This is something that I do literally every day, every night. I do this. I've done this for the last, I don't know, it's got to be at least 2 years now, maybe even 3 years. It's been a long time. And this came from my coach, Keith. I have a life coach, Keith, and he was the one that suggested that to me. And when he first said it, I was like, that's gay. I don't want to say I love you to myself. That's weird. But I was like, okay, the fact that I'm resisting this so much and that I'm dismissing it, maybe that's just my defensiveness. Maybe there's actually something worthwhile here. He gave this to me for a reason. He didn't just say some stupid shit for no reason. Maybe I'll try it. And at first it was weird. It was so strange to me. But I did it for a few weeks and then I was like, this actually feels nice. Like, I'm walking around wishing that other people would love me, other people would give me what I want. What if I just give that to myself? And that's kind of the mechanism behind it. So yeah, brother, I'd love to see you. I mean, do whatever you want, but this would be a kind thing you could do for yourself, is to tell yourself what you're wanting other people to tell you. Like, you're wanting validation from us and feedback and approval and all of that. Like, lots of people want that. I even want that sometimes. Give that to yourself, my brother. Go tell yourself, hey, buddy, you're doing a good job. And I believe in you and I love you. Like positive affirmations, but they work better if you're looking into your own eyes in the mirror because you can see yourself. You start to feel it. Be like, you're doing a good job. You're doing your best. You could even, since you have a bit of shame about or the fact that you haven't had sex, you could even, and this would be a big one, look into your own eyes and say, it's okay that you're a virgin, or it's okay that you haven't had sex yet. It's okay that you feel ashamed about it. I forgive you. Like, you're doing a good job. I promise it'll be okay. Like, give yourself that nice little bit of self-fucking-love and a bit of motivation. But yeah, you go on to say, I will definitely consider that call in the coaching course with you if I continue to struggle afterwards. Thanks again and all the best. And then you did a yellow love heart emoji. How are you guys and girls doing this shit? You're doing yellow emojis and green ones, but yeah, my brother, good job opening up about that. Thank you for sharing all of that. Thank you for giving me a bit of material to do another video. I appreciate that. To any of you that are sort of struggling with this stuff, you know where to find me. I'm right here. You're very welcome to come on one of those $200 coaching calls that I offer. We can sit down for a couple hours and go through anything you're struggling with. Or you can come to the Big Hardcore Cool coaching program, and we have payment plans for that, so money doesn't have to hold you back. Happy to jump on a free call if you want to talk through some fears that you have or money concerns, or you're just nervous to sign up and make this big jump, or it feels like a big jump. I'll give you a big hug and we'll talk about it, and I won't pressure you. I'll ask you what you want to do, but all of that is in the links or in the description below. You are all doing a fucking fantastic, amazing job. Maybe I'll leave you with a Byron Katie quote, since I talked about like mirror therapy and giving yourself that love that you want from others. If you want to see the love of your life, look in the mirror. Isn't that sweet? Go fucking love yourselves, you beautiful bastards and you beautiful bitches. You're all doing such a goddamn good job. Go give yourself a fucking pep talk in the mirror and tell yourself everything that you're wishing other people would tell you.